Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Star Trek vs. Transformers Issue 5. Transformers the Trading Card Game reveals their Devastator box set, and shakeups at the House of IDW leave us wondering what the hell is going on. Today is Friday, March 8th, 2019, and this is episode 119 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that can't believe we still haven't duplicated an intro yet. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, how's it going? Let's talk Transformers.
We've got lots of comics and media news to talk about, as well as a comic review, as always. But before we get into all that, let's start off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on PayPal and Patreon. And this week, we have a special thanks to one of our longtime listeners and Donatreons, Mr. Tom Procia, who just dropped a giant PayPal donation this week. So thank you, Tom. Re-upping his duly appointed supporter of the Transmissions podcast.
He's on the annual plan. We have a few of those.
You're awesome, Tom. Thank you.
Yes.
If you would like to join Tom and become a Transmissions supporter, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. It's very easy to sign up there, either on PayPal or Patreon. But if you don't want to become pledge your support on a monthly basis or anything like that, you can go to our store powered by TeePublic, and if you buy something there, you will give us a little bonus. So you can buy anything from TeePublic through our link, and we get a little kickback. So go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Also, right now, everything on our store is up to 35% off, which means all the t-shirts are $13, but everything else, like hoodies, all the other merchandise, is 35% off. And this sale is going on right now, March 8th. It will end today, March 8th. So if you're listening to this show the next day, sorry, it's too late. But if you're listening on Friday, March 8th, check it out. Take advantage of that discount.
I would like to also mention, because I know we have a number of artistic people in our audience. If you sign up for some, like as an artist on TeePublic and design shirts, let us know, and we will highlight those on our store as well. And maybe we can help each other out. You get a cut of every time someone buys your design, regardless of the store that puts it up there.
That's a great idea, Jeremy. Good job.
It is, yeah. I'm trying to help our community.
Yeah, so let us know. Hit us up if you got some shirts you want us to highlight. Let us know. All right. Well, let's get started and start off with some comics news. We are fans of the IDW Transformers comics, but we have been noticing there's some major interesting events happening with IDW's leadership. So, first, we have some stories about, one of the, this doesn't really directly relate to IDW, but recently a senior advisor who works at IDW, he joined there. He joined. I don't know exactly
what he does as an advisor.
Yeah. Well, he joined in December, but he previously worked at DMG Entertainment, which is the Chinese company that is, the owners of Valiant Entertainment, another comics publisher. And he has filed a suit against his former employers, a $30 million suit, alleging that he's owed some money there for some of the work he did. I guess it doesn't really reflect on IDW, but it's just this is just a weird,
because he's associated with IDW. It's in the news.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Then the next thing we find out is that an IDW board member, Stephen Brown, is charged in Cardi fraud?
Cardis is a company. And
Yeah.
they had this whole fraud thing, and he's named.
So what do you...
Not
what
a
do
good
you-
look.
What's going on there?
But these are on the IDW Media Holdings side.
Yeah, it's not the publishing
kind of
side.
the parent company, which the next story kind of goes into a little bit more about their layout and their org chart.
Right. So the next thing is that the chairman, Kerry McCluggage, the chairman of the IDW Media Holdings, has stepped down, and the major shareholder, Howard Jonas, is now... the CEO, Kerry McCluggage, has stepped down, and now the chairman of Howard Jonas, who's also the major, I guess the majority stockholder in IDW, or shareholder in IDW, has now been named CEO. This is in the face of IDW losing, having lost money this year. Their media parent company losing on the order of about $20 million, $25 million.
He was only there for 7 months too.
Yeah.
So,
and the publishing side has also been losing money. They reported a loss of about $800,000. So
yeah, a lot of their money issues though goes into the TV side, where they've been trying to what is that show that they do,
Winona Earp.
Yeah, I mean they are basically fronting all the money for that, and it's expensive to do. So I mean, I'm sure publishing is not doing super good because comics as a whole.
Also, let's not forget that they just replaced their editor-in-chief.
Right.
Yep.
Who wasn't there that long either.
And Chris Ryall left and came back.
Yeah.
So I mean, lots of changes, and they had to renegotiate the Hasbro deal. Apparently, it wasn't just an automatic re-up. They had to really try to fight to get it.
The hits just keep on coming for IDW here.
Yeah, this is not inspiring confidence in the future of IDW. Even as they celebrate their 20th anniversary here, I just we wish them well, because we like the comics they put out, so we don't want to hear that their company's in trouble. But
I will say that with Chris Ryall now, in his new position, he's publisher now, and John Barber is editor-in-chief. I have faith in the competency of their senior leadership. Yeah, so we'll see, with this reboot how it goes.
the issue is, since they're only the publishing side, so the media parent company is also where there's some issues there.
Disney can always buy them.
But we'll keep an eye on things, and hopefully things will smooth out over there. All right. Next, from over in Japan's TV magazine, their April issue has an exclusive translucent Energon Bumblebee figure, and they're also doing an exclusive comic and a Twitter photo contest. So if you're in Japan, if you are a Japanese Transformers fan, this is something you can have the opportunity to get into. If you share a picture on Twitter with the hashtag Termaga Bumblebee by Friday, April 5th, 2019, you can be entered in this contest to win a Studio Series Bumblebee, SS16 Bumblebee. So yeah, that's cool for our Japanese fans, Japanese Transformers fans. Also in Japan, more information on the Matzinger Z versus Transformers comic. There's an Amazon Japan exclusive cover for this comic, and that is art by Tsuyoshi Nonaka. He's also worked on that TV magazine, that Japanese TV magazine art there. So that's where he's known for.
That's a really nice image. I mean, I have no connection to Mazinger Z, but that's a very, very well done image. I like it.
The Prime and Grimlock look, very, very nice there.
Well, I like the Megatron and I guess whoever the bad guy is for Mazinger Z, the split face. It's very well done.
Dr. Hell, apparently, is his name.
I assume he's the bad guy.
That's probably a good guess, Daryl.
Yeah. picked up on some cues.
Dr. Hell is usually not the name you would choose for your, fan favorite character.
All right, next, coming back over to IDW, we've got some concept art from Philip Murphy on the final issue of Star Trek versus Transformers #5. So we're going to review this today in this episode. I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, not too crazy, but it's basically what happens in this issue is that the crew of the Enterprise teams up with the Autobots, and the Autobots help the Enterprise crew build some mech suits. And so this is the concept art for those mech suits. So we've got a Spock, a Sulu, and a Scotty mech suit here. We've got designs from them. Also an MRES mech suit. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this in the comic review, but I think these are cool. We also have an Arex mech suit, but I don't think that actually made it into the comic.
Oh, it did.
Oh, did it? I must have missed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I caught it. I caught the arm coming out from the center, thinking, "What the hell?" So yeah, it's in there.
Okay. Next, we've got more info on the Ghostbusters, Transformers Ghostbusters crossover. It's called Ghosts of Cybertron. We've got an image that looks like Gozer, a robotic Gozer with some robotic terror dogs that is apparently coming to Cybertron, and she's saying, "Cybertron, the Traveler has come." So that's interesting.
I think that is the Traveler.
Well, yeah, it's Gozer.
Oh, Gozer is the Traveler?
I think so.
Okay.
If you watch the 1984 Ghostbusters movie, when she appears, she says like something, something, something. The Traveler has come. So
okay, this is gonna be a fun crossover.
Yeah. I think I remember on Twitter someone was remarking that those the terror dogs look a lot like the G1 Horrible figure. So look for that figure to go up in price on eBay or get some customs made.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I have my Horrible right next to me right now, and I'm looking. Yeah, I guess I could see it.
Yep, and we've also got another cover image from Priscilla Tramontano, which is the Ghostbuster symbol with Starscream replacing the generic Ghost. So that's cool, and he's doing the V for victory sign from Ghostbusters 2. So
I thought that would be a two fingers for Ghostbusters 2.
Either way.
I'd like to see this one like uncropped, like a full image of it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a great image to put on like a T-shirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it should be a repro label that can go on the Ectotron.
Yeah.
And on the IDW official website, we've got an interview with the writer Eric Burnham, artist Dan Schoening, and colorist Luis Antonio Delgado. So these are the team working on the Ghostbusters Transformers crossover miniseries. So you can take a look at that interview. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, but it looks like there's some
pretty good. It doesn't go too deep into the Transformers stuff, just that the artist is excited to be drawing Transformers. Like he was a fan, but he's worked on the Ghostbusters. Like I guess this entire creative team has worked on Ghostbusters. He's comfortable drawing the Ghostbuster characters, but Transformers took him a little while to get the look, but he's going with the animated G1 look.
All right. Continuing with some more IDW news. This is now going into the new Transformers comic series. So we've got another cover image. We've got from Jeffrey Vereg. I don't know how to... His last name always gives me trouble. But I think this is one of those stylized covers. It's from issue 4 of the series, and it's subtitled "Welcome to Iacon" here. So it's an interesting kind of impressionistic,
like a travel
image.
poster.
Yeah. Also, we've got Robbie Musso's cover for Transformers #1, which is a very nice G1 inspired cover with all the G1 Decepticons. Like most of the season 1 cast there. That looks pretty nice. And also another #1, another variant cover from the Comic Books for Kids, sponsored by Comic Books for Kids. This is a C2E2 exclusive cover by Timothy Lim. This and Jeremy, you got some more details on this cover because you talked to the people at behind Comic Books for Kids.
I talked with Mark Weiss, who's the president of Comic Book for Kids, and they're an organization that they donate comic books to hospitals specifically for kids. And I think he said that they donate like all ages type books. So Transformers is probably, geared more for teens and up. So they're probably not going to be able to donate this one, but this is more of a collector's item and fundraiser type thing. So they will have it at C2E2 and I think a limited number online. And at C2E2, he's also going to have 11 by 17 prints available for purchase. And I think this is just a fantastic image. It's got, if you look at all the covers, it's like all, various parts of the previous continuity. He's got the toys like your classic G1 Megatron and Omega Supreme and stuff, and Crimzeek is back there. So it's a fantastic cover and a great cause. So, I mean, I'm hoping that they sell out at the show, but after I get there to get some.
Nice.
And I will be talking with them at the show, so we'll probably have an interview after C2E2 with me talking with him.
Very cool.
I was just following up on the Robbie Musso one, or Robbie Russo, and
no, it's Musso. That's a mistake in the.
Oh, then I had it right.
Story.
Yeah. So the Robbie Musso one, and you will be able to get that cover at the store, Showcase Comic Books. They're located in Louisiana, or you can get them through their Facebook page. So there's a link on the story through TFW. So follow that if you want to look at getting one of those. Price they're selling them for is $19.99. So take a look at that.
That's wow. That's a lot.
It's a spicy meatball, but we haven't seen any of Robbie's work for a long time, so it's pretty cool to get him on some a new book.
The classic G1 look. So
yep.
It's a very, very well done image. So Robbie's art is great, and this is a great showcase of that art.
Mm-hmm.
Appropriate for Showcase Comics. All right, well, that's all the comics news. So let's get into our comic review. So this week we are finishing off the Star Trek vs. Transformers series. So this is Star Trek vs. Transformers number 5, written by John Barber and Mike Johnson, art by Philip Murphy, colors by Josh Burcham, letters by Krista Meissner, and edits by Chase Maratz and David Marriott.
Are you reading your paper copy?
Yep. Why not?
Awesome. No, I can hear you opening the bag. So.
We've got 3 covers. So cover A is a nice space battle scene between the Autobots and Decepticons, and then Fortress Tiberius Enterprise with the real Enterprise in the background. And that is art by Philip Murphy. Cover B is art by Josh Burcham, and that's Trypticon about to take a bite out of the Enterprise. Trypticon looks much, much bigger than the Enterprise there. And then the retailer incentive cover is art by Chris Panda, and that's Soundwave towering over the crew of the Enterprise as they're on the ground looking like they're in bad shape. Looks like Soundwave's wrecked them pretty badly. So, Daryl, which cover would you pick out of these 3?
Well, I want to first say I think you made a mistake here. It says you said cover B was done by Josh Burcham. Josh Burcham just does colors. He doesn't do art. Silly Charles.
I have seen him art some stuff pretty good. So.
What? Yeah. That's impossible. He's a colorist. Colorists don't do art. They're limited to just crayons.
Colorists are artists too, Daryl.
Yeah, I think someone's asking to be ganged up by a bunch of colorists at a future convention.
I'm gonna get beat up by Josh's. I like all of these images. I've actually never heard of the guy who did the RI, Chris Panda, before, but his is really good, like really good. But I have to say that the Space Battle one, the Philip Murphy one, kind of took me when I first saw it, so I'm gonna go with that one. It's my pick for this week.
Cool. How about you, Jeremy?
I think I'm actually going to go with that Chris Panda retailer incentive. I mean, they're all really good this week, particularly the Josh Burcham one, Daryl. That one is done very well, but I like the Chris Panda one. The humans are done, or I guess the humanoids, because you got Imres in there, but they're drawn very well, and the Soundwave is also drawn really well, and I like it.
Yeah, that Kirk looks he looks more real than the animated series Kirk.
I know. Yeah.
But I think I am also going to go with the Philip Murphy cover, just because I think that's a really great image. A space battle with all the Autobots and Decepticons, that the Megatron and Optimus right front and center there, also with their axe and energy mace there. So I just think that's a really great image and really, really iconic, and captures the spirit of the crossover.
I honestly thought when I picked it up that it was a connecting image with something else, and because obviously the RC on the side is just like a very small portion of everything just kind of cuts off on the side, but no, it's just a standalone. So
but it does seem like there's more outside of the image.
Yeah, more to it than meets the eye.
No, stop.
That's two.
I learned it from the book. Captain's Log, Stardate 5894.2. The crew of the Federation starship Enterprise are now working together with the heroic Autobots. They have saved the mining colony planet Cygnus 7 from the Decepticon/Klingon assault. But after their bad guy team-up failed, the Decepticons now have a new target, the Klingon homeworld of Kronos. Starscream, ever the self-centered betrayer, means to conquer the Klingons for himself and build a new galactic empire. The Autobots' Titan, Fortress Maximus, has been reconfigured into an alt mode that is a replica of the Enterprise and is controlled by Captain Kirk's mind. So with Kirk and the Autobots in Fortress Maximus and Spock helming the real Enterprise, they set a course for Kronos. Mr. Scott has misgivings about taking the already damaged Enterprise back into battle with the Decepticons, especially to save the Klingons. But both Kirk and Optimus Prime vow to take any action necessary to prevent the Decepticons from destroying any other civilizations. It's the Prime and Prime's directive. Oh. But the Enterprise...
I had forgotten about it. I had forgotten about that line in the book, and you just brought it all back. And
I mean, it's super cheesy. But the Enterprise and the Autobots are at a disadvantage compared to the Decepticons' forces. If only they had more resources and firepower to work with. And that gives Kirk an idea. He asks Mr. Scott how much inorganic material the matter replicator can produce in the 6 hours before they reach Kronos at maximum warp. Scotty doesn't like the sound of that, but he gets to work. On Kronos, the Klingon High Council is in session. Some members are ready to retaliate against the Federation for their incursion on Cygnus 7. But before they can make any plans, the building is blasted open from above. Starscream has arrived, and he's ready to rule. He fashions a makeshift throne out of the rubble of the High Council building, expecting the frail fleshling Klingons to bow before his might. But the Klingons don't bow so easily. They are a warrior race and will gladly fight and die before submitting to Starscream's rule. This annoys Starscream, and he starts blasting at the Klingons to prove he's serious. Before Starscream can flex his power any further, Kronos is attacked by another force from above. At first, Starscream thinks it's the Autobots that have followed him here, but then he realizes it's much worse. A very pissed off Megatron and the rest of the Decepticons. Megatron immediately attacks Starscream for his defiance. Now that Starscream has been put in his proper place, he orders the Decepticons to continue what Starscream started. Raise Kronos and create New Kaon, capital of the Decepticon Empire. But the Decepticons are not unopposed. The Autobots and the crew of the Enterprise have arrived. With the help of the Autobots and the Enterprise's replicators, they've made giant mech suits for Spock, Scotty, Sulu, Arex, and Emrys. So now they and the Autobots can match the Decepticons' firepower and strength with their own. The battle is fierce, and the Autobots and Enterprise crew fight well, but just as the tide turns in their favor, Megatron calls in Soundwave to activate his sonic weapon. All the humans and Autobots fall to their knees in pain. Megatron gloats, ready to cement his final victory over Optimus Prime. And when that's done, he'll conquer and subjugate the Klingons and the Federation next. As Megatron revels in his victory, he notices the Klingons are apparently unaffected by Soundwave's attack. Curry tells him that before they arrived, Captain Kirk offered the Klingons some tactical advice, and the Klingons took it. They've modified their ship's weapons for maximum effect on Cybertronians. And at this moment, a fleet of Klingon ships decloaks in the sky above, and blasts Megatron and the Decepticons into submission. In the aftermath of the battle, the Federation and the Autobots establish a truce with the Klingons, but they have to leave the defeated Decepticons in the Klingons' custody on Kronos. Kirk doesn't like this, as it sets up the potential for a future conflict. Maybe in the next miniseries. The Enterprise and the Autobots prepare to depart. Kirk invites the Autobots back to Earth, but Optimus Prime declines, saying their destiny lies elsewhere. But if they ever have need of the Autobots again, they're just a subspace message away. So Kirk bids farewell to Prime and the Autobots with a variation on Spock's Vulcan saying, "Live long and roll out." The end. Yeah, so that's it. Again, I think the art is really well done in this and throughout the whole series. So Philip Murphy's art on both the Transformers and the 70s animation style Star Trek characters is nice. I still think the crossover is pretty formulaic. I mean, not it's a standard, good guys fight, bad guys fight, bad guys team up, then good guys team up, then good guys win. And I did like the Klingons getting of course betrayed by the Decepticons and then teaming up with the good guys, so that was nice. But overall, it was fun. A little bit cheesy with the lines like Prime's directive, and then at one point the Klingon mentions how the Decepticons underestimated, and they'll find out that there's more to them than meets the eye. And then, of course, live long and roll out. Yeah, super cheesy, but in the end, a fun little story. So, Daryl, what did you think of this last issue?
I didn't mind it. It was fun. I remember when we first started to hear about this crossover before it came out, and my one comment about it was that it needed to be just bonkers. It needed to be fun. Mm-hmm. It needed to not take itself seriously, and it didn't. And that's exactly what I was hoping for out of this. There's no way that this is in any kind of continuity. You can't you can't shoehorn this into anything. It's using the character designs from G1 and the animated Star Trek universe, but that's all. It's just, other than that, it's just bonkers. And I love it. It's just fun. You read it for just the absurdity of it. I don't know how long, I don't remember how long it took for them to get to Kronos, the Autobots and the Enterprise crew, but they obviously built like 6 mech suits.
They used the replicators on the Enterprise.
Of course. So they built one and replicated them.
Right.
But they did it very quickly. But this is the book you read, and you don't look past the words on the page. This is just supposed to be taken at face value because it's just crazy. It's a wacky tale, and don't take it seriously. It's not meant to be taken seriously. You can put issue 5 down and not expect to see, Fortress Maximus or Fortress Tiberius ever again, right? It's something that is just going to be done and gone. And it's fun to look back on because it's silly. As far as the story goes, I think it was fine. I didn't expect too much of it, and that's maybe my bar was set low enough that's why I enjoyed it. The art was fantastic. It's not. I wasn't looking for Alex Milne type of art, super hyper detailed. I wanted the animation art, and that's what I got. And that's all this book required. It would have been nice if and it might even be in here and I just missed it, but I would have liked to have seen some animation errors or coloring.
I was just thinking that would have been a nice thing. It would have been
funny to see two rubble Frenzy and
Rumble.
Yes. Standing next to each other, both colored the same, like what happened in the 86 movie in that one scene. But
I would just like to see some mangled faction symbols.
Yeah, just some of that, and that's probably the one thing that kind of annoyed me the entire time, is that they were using the stamp, but it's something that gets done a lot more often in the in the mainline books. But other than that, I thought it was a great series, and it's just fun and goofy. And if you have somebody that you want to give a book to that's Transformers, and you don't want them to get into anything that's too heavy-handed and too big, and you could give this to a kid even.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good book, a good 5 issues.
Cool. All right, Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
I pretty much agree with everything Daryl said. It was a fun book. Just don't think too hard. If you are upset that a character like Windblade is in this, then you need to find something else to read, because this is meant to just be a fun book, and if you don't remember G1 Windblade, then that's your problem. I think that it would be interesting in the future if they did follow this up. Say there's like some lull in the publishing schedule, and they're like, hey, let's do a sequel to this. I think, that would be a fun thing to do. But they left it open, but I'm not really expecting it. But they did do, a sequel to the Green Lantern Star Trek crossover. So it's possible. But I think this was a fun story. The fight was really good. I like how they took the little mech suits, took the characteristics of each of the pilots, like Sulu had that little sword thing that popped out, and was it Eric, or what was his name?
Yeah, Rex. Yeah,
Rex. He had that third hand, and I think those are nice little touches.
It looked pretty phallic.
It did. It did, but the character has 3 arms or whatever.
There you go. Yeah.
But it was fun. I think I could see the entire 5-issue miniseries being a 2 to 3 episode crossover of the cartoons or something. So yeah, it was fun, and as you said, the art was really good, and I think we've been a little bit more critical of the art in previous issues, but it was pretty solid throughout this one, and the coloring too. Particularly, you see the pages with Acid Storm. I was like, wait, is Acid Storm even in this? And then they call him out by name. I'm like, oh, I guess Acid Storm is in this. So yeah, this is just a fun story.
I do have to say, the Autobot characters are a little. And the Autobots and the Decepticons are a little underused here. You really only get significant dialogue from Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Starscream in this issue. Mm-hmm. So it's a little. It feels a little bit like all those other characters are just background dressing, I guess.
No, they don't have to pay the voice actors.
Yeah, I agree. This is a fun issue, and it's clearly. It's clearly leaving it open to continue if they decide to pick it up. But yeah, you could also just forget about it as well. So yeah, leaving Megatron in the care of the Klingons. That's just a bad idea all around.
Yeah,
he's going to escape. We know he's going to escape at some point. Not only that, but the Klingons will probably, they'll pull a Transformers live action movie 2007 and reverse engineer a bunch of technology from Megatron's body. You've got 2 bad things coming for the Autobots and the Federation in the next series, the next hypothetical series.
Well, what I would like to see, and there's precedence with this with Transformers and Star Trek. Star Trek has the mirror universe. Transformers has shattered glass. I mean, come on, do the next one as a mirror universe shattered glass type thing. I mean, come on. Just have it be even more bonkers.
Optimus Prime with a goatee.
Exactly. Yes.
Wasn't the Power Rangers comic? Didn't they do a shattered mirror?
Something like that. Yeah. I don't really care.
I know, but I saw it in the store, and I was like, shattered.
Yeah.
Is that a thing on, a weird spin on what the Transformers thing did, and then mirror, and I'm like, it's gotta be. So anyway.
All right. Well, that's Star Trek versus Transformers number 5, and let's move on to Transformers media news.
All right, in media news this week, we've got some news on the Bumblebee movie. So Amazon has their Bumblebee Blu-ray link updated, so content, extras, character profiles, and stuff like that, that will all be available on the Blu-ray. So take a look at that. There is a limited edition PS4 Bumblebee controller for your entertainment console there, so you can take a look at that if you're interested.
One thing you didn't mention with the Bumblebee Amazon thing, there's going to be an exclusive comic book included.
What?
Bumblebee's Next Adventure.
Oh my. Wow. That's cool.
We'll have to review that.
That one probably should have come out before the other two.
Well, Bumblebee's Next Adventure.
Right, but it's a prequel.
No, it's a reboot.
Right. So that'd be kind of fun. So if you do get it from Amazon, right?
Which I have pre-ordered.
Bumblebee's Next Adventure. Next Adventure. I don't know.
And
last in movie news. I'm sorry, are you guys going to continue to interrupt me?
Yes, we're going to continue to interrupt. I just wanted to count because the PS4 controller, I was just looking at it. It's $200 for this limited edition Bumblebee controller.
Well, PS4 players have a lot of money, Charles. And, the people behind the Bumblebee movie want to get their hands on that. Movie didn't make enough. They need to get some of that sweet, sweet coin.
They only have 500 of them, so
right,
they can charge a lot.
There you go. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a PS4.
Yeah.
Well,
it looks fun.
I do have a PS4, and I don't have $200 to spend on a PS4 controller.
You do. I know you do. But you choose to spend it on food and shit.
And clothes for my children.
There you go. I mean, you have it. I know you do. But you just have to realign your priorities. Can I move on, Charles? Is that okay now? Okay, thank you. Okay, so, and last in the Bumblebee movie stuff, there is a Bumblebee-themed cafe that is going to be opening up in Japan. I'm assuming this kind of stuff probably happens fairly regularly, and it's just to promote the movie.
Which is not yet.
Yeah, it's opening up on March the 8th, and will go until March 31st. And it's at the Ikubukaru Parko store in Tokyo. There you go. So check that out if you're in Japan. In trading card game news, we have some images of the Devastator deck box. So that's pretty cool. They're continuing to bring out some really cool things on this, and our friends over at the WTF at TFW podcast have done another special with a reveal of a new Windblade card and how its mechanics work. So take a look at that. It came out on March 1st.
So as much grief as we're giving Charles for his bad dad jokes tonight, Evangelist Windblade Weevil, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
We'll see. I mean, Charles has an excuse because he's a father. Chris, what's your excuse?
And lastly, in vinyl news, which we don't get a lot of, but Record Store Day is coming up fast and furiously, and we're getting another Transformers record that will be featured on Record Store Day. So this is a re-release, a special edition vinyl of the Transformers 2007. Is it just the one movie, or is it all three?
No,
I guess
three.
It's all three. Wow. So you're getting Transformers 2007 movie, Revenge of the Fallen, and Dark of the Moon soundtracks. They're all going to be released in special edition on that Record Store Day. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if it was the scores, I'd be interested.
Yeah, but, well, whatever.
I mean, if you're a Linkin Park fan, have at it.
As a reminder, Record Store Day is on April 13th. So be sure to check your local record store out. And according to the story here, each album is limited to only 1,500 copies. So
you might want to check with your store and pre-order it if they have it available.
Yeah. There's a store right near me that does Record Store Day, and it's a madhouse. I mean, I go to Free Comic Book Day every year, and Record Store Day is worse. Like, not by the lineup, but by just the people just going in and buying everything. Like, it's gone. So it's a pretty popular day. I'm happy for everyone that's able to get one of these.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for media news.
All right, well, let's finish up the show with some convention news.
All right, we have some TFCon updates. We have voice actor Danny Mann, who is the voice of Cloudraker, Freeway, Lightspeed, and Spoilsport in G1. He will be there on the Saturday of the convention, taking part in autograph sessions. We also have Peter Renaday, who is the voice of Grapple in G1, but also the voice of Splinter in the 80s Ninja Turtle show. So he will be there also on Saturday, taking part in autographs and stuff. All the proceeds from his autographs are going to charity, so that's pretty cool. Also, Brandon Easton is going to be there, a friend of the show. Brandon Easton, he's been on our show before, and he is one of the writers on the Netflix series War for Cybertron. He's also worked on Rescue Bots and did the Deviations one-shot. So he will be taking part in a Q&A panel, and it looks like he'll be there all weekend. So, be sure to check him out. I know Yoshi's going to try to talk with him during the weekend. Also, at TFCon, we have Cyberverse writer May Cat, who she is one of the she's been writing the cartoon series Cyberverse, and she will also be taking part in a Q&A panel. So I would guess it's probably going to be the same panel as Brandon Easton, but we're not sure yet. But that's cool if they're getting creators on these current series. And finally, in our TFCon news, we have Jason Marnocha is attending. You might know him as Sassy Megatron from the Machinima series, which one of the highlights of that series is Sassy Megatron. So he will be taking part in the Q&A panel. I really hope he gets a good reception because, like I said, he was one of the highlights of that show.
God, I hope the name Sassy Megatron sticks.
How else are you going to describe him?
Yeah, you got to differentiate.
I know.
Right?
I mean, yeah, he was
very sassy.
Grumpy Megatron. I guess a little bit grumpy, but he liked to sass people.
It was a cool take on like a Megatron who he's not trying to conquer the universe anymore. He lost the war, but he's like, he's okay with that. He's just, he's like, look,
it's the get off my lawn Megatron.
Exactly. Yeah. And for all the faults of those three series, I think Megatron was one of the best parts, and I really enjoyed that take on Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a slew of TF Nation updates. They just made a huge post with a number of guest announcements. They will be having James Roberts Nick Roach, Jack Lawrence, Kei Zama, Jean-Paul Beauvais, and Simon Furman. So, I mean, these people need no real introduction. Then most of them probably lived across the street because they're in the UK and it's a small island. But anyway, it's really cool that Simon Furman's going. I'm not sure how many TF Nations he's been to, but nice to see him there.
I think he's been to most of them. He's there. He's a pretty regular guest there.
Cool. Well, I know he's heavily involved in that Hachette definitive collection book. So nice to see he's still involved. He's also doing the Earth Wars, which is still going on. So, and it'll be interesting to see comments from people like James Roberts and Jack Lawrence. Now that their time has kind of ended on the mainline comics, and see what they're up to. I'm looking forward to seeing what news comes out of TF Nation. Our final piece of convention news this week. Daryl is going to be attending Toronto Comic Con. Daryl, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Toronto Comic Con is coming up on the exact same weekend as TFCon Los Angeles, and since I am not attending TFCon Los Angeles, I thought, you know what, I'm going to put my my hat in the ring to see if I can get like media credentials for for Toronto Comic Con, and I put them in 2 months ago, thinking you know what, for the hell of it, I'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I don't go, and I'm out no money and no time, and I'll just do something else that weekend. And I got back to me this week and said, hey, here you go. Media credentials are approved, and let's get you in here. And I'm like, holy crap, let's go, let's do this. All right. And now I got to find a place to stay in Toronto. So, because I got they give you a 3-day pass. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking to see if I can interview some people that are there. Speaking of the Machinima series, they have Ron Perlman is attending the convention, so I'm hoping to talk to him about playing Optimus Primal.
You need to find out if he actually knew who Optimus Primal was, or if he thought he was actually getting Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really short interview if it actually happens. And also Denny O'Neil is there, and he's a comic book legend, but he's probably best known in the Transformers world as being the guy who named Optimus Prime. So he as the story goes, he was given the dossier at the start, did 10 minutes of work on it, and decided I can't deal with this right now. He was the originator of the phrase before Ultra Magnus came up with it. But so, and then he passed it off to Budiansky, but the name Optimus Prime kind of stuck when Budiansky took over. So I'm hoping to talk to him and see if I can corroborate that story. But that'll be kind of fun, and see what else is going on.
And Denny O'Neil also did a little bit of work on Batman, I think.
Did some Batman stuff, Green Lantern, wrote a bunch of Spider-Mans. He's been around a while. That's
awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of big artists that are going to be there from across Canada. And
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a big few weeks for us, because the following weekend is when I will be in Chicago at C2E2. And Yoshi's hitting both Emerald City and TFCon in the same weekend.
That's right.
Charles, where are you going to be?
What are you doing, Charles? Yeah.
I'm going to be at Shelton Con at my house. It's very exclusive. Only 5 people are allowed to come to this convention.
You can get all the mint-filled
and they're all related to me. Yeah, I mean, it's my birthday weekend. My birthday is the 12th, so I don't know if I'm doing anything for my birthday.
Surprise! You're coming to Toronto.
Yeah. Is there an extra pass in your media credentials?
You've lost that much weight.
All right. Well, that's all of convention news. We'll have updates in the coming weeks, how things went. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Welcome to Transmissions. Well, sorry. Start over.
I forgot to start my backup. It's been a day.
Okay, that answers that question.
So that is all the
Yep.
convention news we have this week. And
Nope.
TFCon is coming up
Nope.
next week. So
Nope.
what?
I know you read the doc. Jerry.
I'm not
Got one more bit of news.
That's all the news we got this week.
Aww.
Our final piece of convention news this week. Daryl is going to be attending Toronto Comic Con